Que pasa, Mufasa? I'm going to do a car update. I'm going to let you guys know everything from very beginning to what I know now. I apologize it's taken me so long. I've been trying to get answers for everything. I didn't want to make a video and be like, well, I don't know this, I don't know that. No, I wanted to get everything covered so I can just do everything all in one video for you guys. So, from the very beginning, the car that I had was my mom's old work car, and she's a postal carrier and she doesn't use the truck. She has to use her own vehicle. So this car has been it was a good car, but it was really used a lot. It had, I can't remember if it was 230 something thousand miles or 250,000. I think it was 230 something thousand miles. But the mechanic said that the engine, transmission, all that was good. It was a good car. It was worth fixing up, and it could go for another 100,000. So, my mom had taken it to the mechanic, and it's just been sitting it was sitting at the mechanic for the last year. And my mom had to get a new larger vehicle to take all the packages and everything. So this vehicle was not being used, it was just parked. And then when my last car got repossessed in August, at the end of August, my mom had some money set aside. So since the mechanic said this car was good and everything, she went and in September told him, go ahead and start fixing it up. Anything that needs to be fixed to get it running so that it can not only be safe, but it'll last, do it. So my mom ended up putting almost $2,000 worth of work into it, because where I was living, because I was still out of state at this time, and where my mom was living, neither one of us could find a car for $2,000 or anywhere even near that was in good running condition. If anything else would have been needing even more work than this Honda did. So, and for the record, it was a 2004 Honda CRV. I know there was a lot of confusion. People were thinking it was a Kia and everything else. No, it was a 2004 Honda CRV. So, my mom told the mechanic that I was a delivery driver for DoorDash, Grubhub, and that I would be frequently driving back and forth between states. So the mechanic was aware that it was going to be driven a lot. And she said, whatever you need to do to make the car safe for my daughter to drive, go ahead and do. So they went and got all new brake, like they did the works on it. There was so much that got fixed on that car, like there was a huge list. So this was in September. There were issues to where it didn't get fixed until, no, it wasn't good until end of October. Now it needed to be registered by November 1st because the registration was expiring in October. So there was an issue with the, which light was it? Oh my goodness. I think it was the check engine light. I'm trying to remember everything right now. It's been a chaotic week. But the light kept coming on, and while it was at the mechanics, the catalytic converter ended up getting stolen. So they replaced that, and there was still an issue with the light, and the car was sputtering. So they replaced the O2 sensor. They had to replace it again because there was another issue. So eventually the sputtering went away. Car was able to drive good and everything. And I ended up having to get a waiver to get it registered because that light would not come off. So it was not going to pass inspection. So I had to go and get the waiver to get it to pass inspection so that I could even get it registered. So I got it registered November 9th. So everything was good. I was doing DoorDash. I was working every day, and I wasn't having any issues. I mean, the light was still on, but I didn't have any issues. So when I went out of state for Thanksgiving, so the car caught fire that Friday, November 26th, I believe it was. That Tuesday, it was that Tuesday, my passenger side headlight went out. Or no, was that Tuesday? No, sorry. Okay. The Tuesday, my transmission oil needed, the check engine light came on, or the maintenance required light came on. So I checked that, and the transmission, I think it was the transmission oil, fluid, whichever. I'm not really good with cars. I don't know this stuff, so I always have help to do all this. I know I need to learn all this, and I'm definitely going to now. But it was almost bone dry. But I had just literally had an oil change and everything. So the mechanic had checked everything, put fluid in everything, so there was no reason anything should have been dry that fast. So went and got that refilled, and everything was all good. So that Wednesday night, the passenger side headlight went out. And so I was driving around. I did not have the money to get it fixed. I literally only had enough money for gas to be able to get back home. So for Thanksgiving, didn't go anywhere, just stayed in my plans out of where I was and everything. So that Friday when I left, it was around 7, I want to say about 7 p.m. My driver's side headlight went out. So at the time that my passenger headlight went out, the driver's side runner light went out as well. So I had those out. So at that around 7 o'clock on November 26th, that Friday, my driver's side headlight went out. So I had to drive with my high beams. And I remember even my high beams started going dim. So I'm like, what in the world? I'm still a couple hours away from home. But I remember I pulled over at one of the rest stops, and there was this gentleman there who worked at the rest stop, and he was like, excuse me, ma'am, you have your headlight out. And he was helping me check the lights and everything, see which was working, how to go about everything. He was telling me that his brother is a police officer, Highway State Patrol, and what his brother would end up recommending, to make sure that I get home safe and, everything, because they've had to deal with that in the past. So everything was all good. I was driving with my high beams on, and those ended up getting more dim. So I'm getting worried. Come 9, I remember it was 9 o'clock, or a little after 9. The reason why I know that is because at 9:06 is when I called my mom, which I'll get to. I was doing the speed limit, which was 70, and I was on the freeway going. Everything was all good. All of a sudden, the battery light came on. The car shut off, and I had my phone plugged into the cigarette lighter because it was charging. I heard my phone uncharge. That little sound that it makes. I heard that. The steering wheel started to lock up, and the brakes started to lock up a little bit. It was still manageable to use, but you could feel everything stiffening. So I immediately pulled over to the breakdown lane, and I had to jam the shifter into park to get the car to park. So once I did that, all of a sudden smoke started coming out of the engine under the hood. So I saw that, and I know smoke does not need to be in the engine. That's not good. So something inside told me, grab your phone and just get out of the car and start walking. So for some reason, I don't know why I grabbed the keys as well, but I grabbed my phone. Thank God I had my hoodie on, and I just start walking. And as soon as I get out of the car, I call my mom, which was at 9:06 p.m. And I'm walking. I'm just going straight down the highway, breakdown lane. It's dark. It's really dark out, and I'm walking backwards so that I'm looking at my car at the same time, and I'm calling my mom, and I'm like, Mom, the car just died on me, and I'm like, I don't know what to do. And we were on the phone for a total of 1 minute and 15 seconds. And during that time, I'm explaining, she's like, what do you mean the car died? And I'm telling her what happened, and all of a sudden I see a flame underneath the engine. I start screaming. I was just like, Mom, the car's on fire, oh my God. I was like, I'm gonna hang up, I'm gonna call the police. So I hang up on my mom, and I immediately, I try and call 911, but my phone locked on me, and it would not unlock. It literally like froze on me. So I'm like panicking even more, and I'm getting it to unfreeze. Like I'm sitting there pressing the button for the lock screen, and finally it unlocked. And I called 911, and it froze on the emergency call list. I'm like, oh my God, if everything could go wrong, it's going wrong. And I'm freaking out. But I was able to get everything, thankfully, very quick. And as soon as the 911 operator answers, I was like, I was like, my car's on fire on the freeway. I'm at blah 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 blah. Like I gave him everywhere, and I was walking, since I was still walking on the freeway. Like as soon as I saw that fire, I walked even further away. So I was walking. Thankfully, I was near an exit sign because I was not familiar with where I was. I was still an hour away from home, and I've never been this way. I took a different way this time. And so I don't know where I'm at. So I was just reading it. I'm like, I am on the side of the freeway in front of this sign, and I'm telling him all that. And literally within a couple of seconds, the fire just, it kept growing. It was getting bigger and bigger, and I'm freaking out. And thank the 911 operator, he was an angel. Like, he was wonderful. He kept me calm. He was, getting all the information. And I'd say in less than about a minute, they responded. Like I was hearing sirens, and as you can see, like I was on the phone with the guy the whole time, and I heard the sirens and I saw blue and white lights. So I'm like, okay, the police have arrived and everything. He's like, okay, and he told me, if you want, you can wait where you are until the police come over to you, or if you're comfortable enough to you walk by there, you can go ahead and walk towards the officers. So we got off the phone. I was hearing more sirens coming, and when we got off the phone, that's when I started making the video. And as you see on the far left of the video, that little light, that was one of the officers who was actually walking towards me. So while the fire truck was putting everything out, I was doing the video. I was walking towards the officer and everything. Excuse me. So the officer was on the phone. That's why I continued to film while we were walking. Well, not the phone. He was on the radio, but he was getting a hold of everybody. I think he was on his phone at one point too, because he was I wasn't really looking at him, but every once in a while I heard the little button for the walkie-talkie, and then I heard him talking through everything else. But so he was calling everything, and so when he got off the phone, he was still on it while I was filming, and we were walking. We got off, and I told him, I was like, officer, I was like, I was like, I'm really thankful to be alive. I'm thankful you guys got here so fast. I was like, but I've never been in a situation like this. I was like, what do I do about my stuff, my car? I was like, I don't care if anything is destroyed. I'm just thankful I'm okay. But I was like, I don't know what to do. I was like, my wallet's in there, things like, I was like, so my license is in there. So I was like, I've never been in this situation. So I know a lot of people are commenting, oh, don't worry about your stuff. No, I honestly was not worried about my stuff. I didn't know what I'm supposed to do, like what my responsibilities are as, the owner of the vehicle. It might sound stupid, but I've never been in that situation. I've never been in a situation where I even broke down on the side of the freeway like that and needed to call the police. Like so for me, not only is my mind racing with everything going on, I'm in shock about, I barely got out before the car caught fire. It was literally a minute and the car was engulfed in flames. So everything was just rushing. And we were walking by, and when we passed the fire truck, there was, I'm guessing he was one of the lieutenants, chief, like one of the higher ranking firefighters, because his uniform is different. And we were walking by, and I was like, excuse me, sir, I want to thank you guys for what you're doing and coming out here so fast, and I appreciate you guys. And so I went in, we walked by, the officer took me to his car to let me go sit in there because it was cold out, and he's like, well, here's what's going to happen. We're going to let them finish putting the car out, and we're going to see what can be saved. We might be able to get some small things, but we're going to see everything. He's like, but for the meantime, why don't you go ahead and sit in my car, get warm and everything, and we're going to figure everything out. And I had, been talking with him, and he's like, do you have a way to get home? Do you, like, where do you live? And I told him, I was like, I'm like an hour and a half away. I don't even know where I'm at right now. So, with everything that happened, my mom called, and her and my uncle immediately got in the van and were coming to get me. They were heading my way. I was working with the officer trying to figure out where they were going to take me, because at first he was saying he'll take me to a Walmart so I can at least wait inside somewhere, but Walmart was going to be closing soon, so they were figuring out other places, so they ended up eventually taking me to a gas station. But so we were talking, and after the fire, sorry, I'm still like in disbelief of everything. Like it's crazy to talk about, like, what in the world. But the firefighters put everything out. I was on the phone, like, when I got into the officer's car. After I got off the phone, my mom gave her the address and everything. I texted loved ones, and I was talking to them, and I was on the phone with them. They were calming me down. I was telling them what happened. And yeah, I was in there for a little while they were putting, I was watching them literally putting the car fire out, and I'm just like, this is not happening. Like, it did not feel real. I was like, what in the world? I just kept playing it over and over again, me on the side of the freeway screaming, freaking out, saying, my car's on fire, my car's on fire, oh my god, because it was crazy. But yeah, so they got the fire all out, and they brought me to they brought me over, and the officer was like, we're going to bring you over, let you grab what small things you can, and then everything else, when your mom and uncle get there, you guys can get what you want, but you gotta tow it. And he, we were talking all the information and stuff. That's why I don't even go over all that. But this is actually kind of funny. When they brought me up to the front of the car, they were showing me what all there was, and I remember the officer was like, your purse is fine. And I was like, oh my god, thank god. Like, I don't care about my purse. My glasses were in my purse. And even though, if you guys have seen the video, my glasses are all messed up, but I need them still. I can't afford to get new glasses. So I mean, that was my biggest concern, because my wallet was actually sitting on the passenger seat, because it was one of those like chain wallets that go in the back of your pants. So I didn't have my wallet in my purse. So I was just thankful. I was like, oh my god, thank you. I was like, my glasses are gonna be fine. Everything just really smelled like smoke. But what's so funny, and I forgot to grab it. So let me just grab it really quick. I'm gonna unplug my mic and plug it. Oh no. Take my mic off, because I want to show you guys this. Okay, thank you guys for working with me. Let me grab my mic. Okay. I'm sorry if this is making noise for you guys. I'm sorry. But it's really funny, and this was actually a big thing, because that Friday night after everything, when I got home safe, I went on live and I was talking to people, and this was actually like kind of a big thing, so that's why I wanted to show you guys. That Wednesday night, before everything, the day before Thanksgiving, I had gone to GameStop because I had my $5 Pro Reward membership, or reward waiting, or it was Thanksgiving. I can't remember whichever that day. It was one of those two. But I love Yoshi, and every time I've seen the classic Yoshi plushie at GameStop or anywhere, I never had the money. But finally this time I went, and they had Yoshi. So I was so excited. So of course I got him. And I wanted to show you guys the bag. So Yoshi and my GameStop bag were actually in the front seat of the car. So you see how dirty the bag is. Like, it got kind of messed up in the fire. And the tag, you can see how it's kind of messed up. And even Yoshi has like a little bit on here. He's a little dirty. This is all from the fire. He was perfectly fine, pristine condition when I got him. But I remember when I grabbed the bag out of the front, I don't know, it sounds kind of cheesy, but I got so excited. I was like, oh my god, Yoshi survived! And I remember I had the two sheriffs right there, and one of them, which I ended up finding, is the one that took me to the gas station. We talked for a bit. He's just laughing at me. I was like, I know this sounds so stupid. I was like, Yoshi survived. I was like, look at him, he's perfect. And I don't know. I think it was just it was a comfort. I didn't even notice this. He's dirty down here and right here too. For some reason, I'm starting to get emotional thinking about it. It feels kind of stupid. I was so happy that a little plushie was okay, but it was a comfort. You know, like, now Yoshi's my little... I love this Yoshi plushie even more. And I actually have the Yoshi egg light too, so I'm gonna put him next. I have him next to it. I have to move Charmander first, but yeah, like, it was an amazing feeling seeing this little plushie still okay. It feels stupid. But what I thought was so crazy is the phone that I'm filming on right now. This is the phone that I film all my TikTok videos on. I take all my pictures on it, everything. And I was using it to play music in the car. And I had a little Bluetooth speaker from Walmart and everything in the front. And the phone survived too. It had, like, I have the case off right now because I have it hooked up to my ring light, but this is the case, which is a little, it has a little bit of heat damage. It's a little warped. But I remember the officer grabbing my phone and saying, yeah, we were able to save the phone too. And I'm looking at it and I'm just like, that's crazy. Like, you could see when he handed it to me out of the car, there was a lot of heat damage, and it was like wet and everything. And I'm like, oh my God, like, that was right there. And somehow, like, my phone survived for all my videos and everything like that. And I was just like, my mind's just racing. But to wrap all this up, so it was, I ended up having a hard time dealing with AAA. They wouldn't cover the towing, and so they were giving me a hard time. So it literally got to the point when I was on the phone with AAA, I had to hand the phone to my mom after she got me. I was like, can you please deal with it? I'm about to scream. I literally stepped out of the car and I screamed because I was just so fed up with everything. Because for some of my OG followers, you know my whole story. For the new followers, I've dealt with a lot in the last year, and it has been a lot. I was homeless, living in motels with my fiance, and then we ended up having a miracle pregnancy resulting in a miscarriage that was incredibly, that was just a whole other thing. The very next day, my fiance ended up having a stroke. A couple weeks later, diagnosed with leukemia. We're still homeless in the hotels and everything. And then in August, my car got repossessed. And then a couple days later, ended up getting COVID. And it's been one thing after another. And I've been trying to stay strong. But it feels like every time, my mom giving me this car was like a huge blessing, because there was no way. Like, I had a GoFundMe up, and I was able to get like, I think it was $175 from the GoFundMe, and I had a little bit of donations from CashApp and Venmo and PayPal, and that only covered getting the car registered and insurance, and I had to pay a $50 fee for the license plate from my car getting repossessed. So I'm thankful for I didn't mean for that to come out wrong. I was very thankful for every donation, but I wouldn't have been able to get another car, and my mom giving me this car for free, like, was a serious blessing. And now not having a car, losing my job because I was a DoorDash driver, and now I live in a place where it's very transportation, like, reliable. Like, there's no public transportation. There's not a lot of places in walking distance, and it's been a lot. So yeah, I got on the side of the road and I just screamed, and didn't really help. But I guess it helped me from, like, blowing up. But anyways, I was able to find a tow company that took the car for free to a junkyard. And I was able to, I mailed them the title and everything, so I didn't have to pay for anything. It's off my hands. Now, in regards to insurance, I was not getting a penny because of how old the car was. It was already paid off. So with the condition that it was in, I was advised by everyone, just get the state minimum. Don't go for the full liability, all that stuff, because not only could I not afford it, but everyone was like, it's not worth it. If anything happens to the car, just get you another one. We didn't know it was going to happen this soon, like this. But yeah, so Progressive, absolutely wonderful. I love Progressive even more because when my car was repossessed, I owed a final bill of $22 and some change. And when I called them and told them about the fire and I had to cancel my insurance, I had a remaining bill of $9 and some change. And some people might be like, $9 is nothing. I just lost my job. $9 is a lot of money for me right now because I literally only have what's left and I still have bills. And I'm just like, how am I going to do everything? I'm trying to find jobs from work from home, not having luck. But anyways, Progressive told me they just wrote it off because I went to call them to pay off that $9 and they're like, oh, they just wrote it off. You're good to go. And I'm like, thank you, Progressive, for saving me the $9 and change. I love you guys even more now. That was a major blessing for me right now. But I was able. It took me a couple of days of calling, but I was able to get a hold of the fire department, and they, I was asking. I was like, I know you guys wouldn't do like an investigation on it because of the situation. I said, but do you by any chance know if the firefighters who responded noticed anything, made any comments? I was like, I just want to know what caused the fire if I possibly can, so that I can avoid it in the future. Because now I'm absolutely terrified of being in cars. I've been forcing myself because I don't have a choice. If I need to go somewhere, I got to deal with it. I can't just like let that fear stop me because that'll prevent me from everything. But I have really bad anxiety in cars now. I cannot sleep in cars. So that the other day when I took my loved one to the dentist and I was stuck in a car all day, I just went that entire day no sleep. I can't do it. But I want to do everything on my end to prevent this from ever happening in the future. So I was trying to figure out, like, make all the phone calls that I possibly can, find out as much information so that on my end I can make sure it doesn't happen. So I got a hold of the mechanic and I asked the mechanic, I said, what all did you do on the car? Because I wanted to find out first before I go and tell him, hey, yeah, car caught fire. But he told me, what he did. He said, he checked everything and car should have been good to go. And he's like, why? What happened? I told him, I was like, well, the car caught fire. He's like, oh, you're messing with me. I was like, no, the car caught fire. The car's done. It's gone. So I explained everything that happened and the firefighter that I spoke to, he knows a little bit about cars. He wasn't one that responded, but he asked me, what happened prior to the car catching fire. I explained everything to him. He told me it sounded like, oh my God, what is it called? It sounded like, I literally forgot the car part right now. I had all this good before, filming, but, oh, this is gonna drive me crazy now. Oh my God, I'm so sorry, you guys. I know, but my mind just totally went blank right now. But basically said it sounded electrical, and because the battery died, it sounded like the oh my God, I'm gonna Google it right now. Battery. What is? I know this is gonna be alternator. Yes. Jesus. Oh my God. This is how my mind has been lately. I've had so much going on, but he said it sounded like the alternator. So, Jesus. The mechanic told me the alternator was fine. There was no issues, but I told him about the leak with the transmission fluid, and he said, oh, well, he checked all that. Everything was fine. There shouldn't have been an issue, but he told me that there was a leak with the power steering fluid. And he said, it wasn't a big deal. It was something that could wait. So he's like, that's why it didn't bother fixing it, because he and my mom talked about it, and he said, it was safe to drive without it, just monitor and everything. But the thing is I didn't have any issues with the steering at all, and the fluid was fine. There was no leak there. But the mechanic told me that most likely because there was that leak, he thinks that leaked and maybe a hose got loose or something, but the combination, all that probably just caused it to spark and cause the fire. But yeah, so that's what all ended up happening, beginning to end, all information about the car. I hope I covered everything. I know this was really, really long. I apologize. This is going to end up being 10 videos on TikTok, but I will upload this full thing on YouTube as well in one video. But I hope I covered everything. If anyone has any questions, yeah, right now I'm just, I'm looking for work from home jobs, like the customer service kind of stuff. I've been looking on all the job searching stuff, because now I'm without a car and without a job, but I'm doing what I can to try and find a job. But I thank everybody for your concern. I love you guys so much, and be safe when you drive. Monitor your cars.